So, hello everyone. It's Diane. Welcome to Gateways on Beyond Being Human. I am so excited today with my guest, Viviane Chauvet, who is really beyond being human. Vivian is an advanced Arcturian hybrid. Welcome, Vivian, to Gateways.
Thank you so much, Diane, for having me. It's wonderful to be here today.
Yeah, so what can I say except can you tell us a little bit about your amazing lineage? You're an advanced Arcturian hybrid. And of course, I know about your lineage, but my guests don't. So tell me a little bit about how you came about, why you're here, and your story, so to speak.
Yeah, absolutely. We can take a little journey together. So I am an Arcturian being, and as an Arcturian being, have decided to return to the Earth in the ascension timeline, so we can really bring a much more direct support in helping this most important evolutionary process. And we're here to help to bring the next catalyst of evolution, so we can finally return to a more fifth dimensional frequency and start to remembering who we are. So for an Arcturian being to be on this earth in a human form, it takes an extraordinary measure to be here for me. So what happened is that my delegation has constructed this body for me, this organic physical form with baseline of some of DNA from my mother, a beautiful mother, and plus the Arcturian genetic material to create this vessel so I can be on the planet instead of being in my original Arcturian form and interacting with, other light workers, channels, teachers, and going into this filtering system where I prefer to be directly on the planet so that I retain a much more direct, pure connections to my delegations and other delegations I work with. And my presence on the planet, Mother Gaia recognizes me, allow a much more effective movement in terms of shifting out of this three-dimensional matrix reality, polarization, duality. Human beings and Earth has been descending so much into this forgetfulness of who they are. So we're here to really help to remap, like creating a map of remembrance of who you are and start to identify yourself more as a soul level rather than on the 3D personality level. So in a nutshell, without going too extensive in the details, I am an Arcturian prototype in the sense that there's only one like me on the planet. Others come back as star seeds. So there's more of a soul emanation that reincarnate into a physical human form to be able to be on the planet. The reason for this is because the Arcturians are so advanced and vibrate, and it's such of a high level of frequencies that we wouldn't be able to be in a condensed density planetary system physically here. It would be like you going into diving with a scuba diving into the depth of the ocean. Your bones would be crushed by the pressure. So it's something similar in terms of we wouldn't be able to be on the planet in physical form. It wouldn't be durable for us because it's too dense here. We're very super high frequencies. So the best way to do it is to send out a soul emanation, and then the soul reincarnate into a human form. There's still star seed, but it's just in the completely human vessel. In my case, my vessel was engineered and designed by the Arcturians with some template or foundational genetic material that my mother agreed to provide in order for me to create a baseline connections with the earth so I can be here and being able to converse with you.
Wow. I really, really feel blessed that you are here with me today, and especially because the connection with the Stargate. I've been with the Stargate for many years, and I know that I think as of last December, you were brought together with Brigitte and Jules and the Stargate and Alcazar, and specifically for a purpose. How did you and your Arcturian delegation and Brigitte and Jules and Alcazar and the Stargate come together? What brought you together?
That's a fantastic question, Diane. I feel like the very first time that we rediscovering each other in this lifetime, I feel there was an immediate soul recognition. Immediately we recognize each other. And I remember distinctively the day that we saw each other. I was looking at Pragit and Jules, and they were talking. And my Arcturian father came and put his fingers on my shoulders and says, "It is imperative for you to connect with those people. And when they speak this way, it'll have to take action now. It's not tomorrow and a week from now. It's now." And so we were part of an event, an online event, where they were part of their guests and I was a guest. And the host, without consciously knowing it, but probably guided at a higher level, brought the three of us together and says, the three of you are going to conduct a meditation for our group and everyone watching the live stream. And so that was an interesting way to put us already in the same energetic field so we can already co-create something that in this lifetime we have not done so far. And so intuitively, we went like, okay, let's do this. And then the Pragit and Jules start the pace and open up. And at some point, what happened is I felt and saw the presence of Alcazar. I saw the Stargate, the etheric one. And then I saw the presence of my Arcturian delegation. And it made me smile because I knew at that moment, Diane, that orchestration was already taking place. And now they were simply aligning this orchestration in the 3D physical manifestation field, so that day in the meditation, it just flowed. Like when Alcazar kind of stopped and gave us the baton so we can continue, so to speak, it was just a flow, like we were like harmonizing our footstep with each other to conduct this meditation. And then when the Arcturians, we took it over, and then we brought the group to the Stargate and brought back in their bodies. And I remember that night, because it was kind of late at some point, in the chat room, we can read all the comments, and the hosts of this event were like, wow, what just happened? What just happened was the beginning of Pragit, Jules, Vivian, and the Arcturian together. That was what happened. That was the beginning. And 3 days later, we were on Zoom having a conversation. And at that point, it was already decided that I was going to co-host their Maui retreat, the second week of the Maui retreat with them. It was that fast, like bing, 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 bing. And Pragit was like, "You're coming, it'll be co-hosting. We're going to do this, we're going to do that." Jules go, "Okay, let's do it." And it just happened. That was the beginning of our beautiful friendship and collaboration, and of course, cooperation with the Stargate family. The joy of meeting so many amazing members through the Stargate family has been absolutely phenomenal. And I would say everywhere we've been so far together, I mean, just the energy and the synergy together, it's just incredible. I really look forward to see what we will be co-creating in Egypt and Greece at a global gathering all together. It gets better and better and expand and become much more synergy and familiar. And I'm so grateful. That's the best word I can tell you. Very grateful.
I too am very, very grateful. I have followed you as you went to Maui and Costa Rica, and I was with you. I was lucky enough to be with you and Pragit and Jules in Mount Shasta, the beautiful mountain. We were all there together. And I have to say, Vivian, again, because I've been to the Stargate for many years, and when you walked in the room, there was an energy that was so, I don't know what it was. It was so perfect. And the three of you sitting there talking, and it was one went to the other and the other went to the other. And it was such a beautiful co-creating that was happening. And the topic for that particular workshop a little while ago was Bridge to the Divine. And I felt, and I wanted to ask you this, because there were so many great things happening with Egypt and Greece, that Bridge to the Divine was the stepping stone, bringing us a certain consciousness and bringing the light into our bodies to prepare us for what was going to happen. What was it like for you in Mount Shasta, bringing forth this Bridge to the Divine workshop with all of us?
Sitting right in our house with Pregnant Jewels and the Stargate, well, the physical manifestation of the Stargate, and to see all these amazing people in person, plus the live stream. We knew at that point that it was another pivotal point in the consciousness. Like you say, was a bridge preparing us to where we're going to head. You know, fall equinox is coming, a change of season is another conjunction, another energetic conjunction happening on the planet right now. At that moment back in June, we were right in the summer energy, right into the summer solstice energy, around a time where even on the solar frequency level, we're going into a peak of energy on the planet, and to allowing that natural bridge of movement from one stage of consciousness to the next, and every day building up toward a crescendo of experiences, integration, release, self-realization. For me, I would say, Diane, on a personal level, was to witness so many people live in the room, shifting from an old paradigm, whether it was cultural restrictions, belief backgrounds, whether it was emotional barriers, whether it was already those who were practicing with the Stargate for a number of years. It's allowing everyone to redefine what it meant for them, that bridge to their divinity, the bridge to this higher conscious way of embodying their divinity. And by the end of the weekend together, because a weekend workshop, it's to look at everybody the way we came in and how the way everybody came out about in the world. And they brought their frequency, the emanation, the new way of seeing. And I remember some member told me, they said, I'm coming back to a family where none of this still exists in the paradigm, but I'm coming back in my light. And I said to these people, I said, you becoming what's called leading others by example, you becoming the catalyst of change, because there's something they're going to feel or something different about you. They don't know exactly what that is. But yeah, that's the opening, the planting of the seeds, the ripple effect that these people have in their environment. And that bridge to divinity was given to me, gifted to me even more directly through my Arcturian delegation. We opened the field and we looked. This says, where are we? What do we need the most at that point? What aspect do we need to stabilize? And what aspect do we need to enhance more? And it felt very fluid. I don't know about you, Diane, about your own experience, but it felt there was such a fluidity of movement. You can tell that we were supported on many, many levels during the workshop in Shasta. I always remember that.
And I remember Alcazar saying, just be fluid, be able to change. And I remember that all the time now when I feel like I'm stuck. I remember that workshop where it's like, it's okay to change. Just keep moving, be fluid. And I know you went with that many times. We talked about that. And I know that a lot of people, because I've talked to them afterwards, are so ready now to move forward to where we're going. And that brings me right now to Africa. And I know you are moving, and so is the Stargate, to Egypt. And it's amazing to me because you had told us that you actually were in Egypt, I believe, last year doing some work in South Africa. And now the Stargate and the Arcturians are moving into Egypt. And it's such a profound, I can feel the energy building. I feel everybody around me feeling this energy building. And just on TV, there's these shows about these women pharaohs of Egypt that have been forgotten, restoring Africa, restoring Egypt. I feel that there is a big movement there, and I think that you and the Stargate are preparing something really big to happen there.
Indeed, you're absolutely correct, Diane. This is something that's been in the making for quite a while, for generations. But if you look at the stability in the field and on the planet, we'll reach a point where there's so many light worker or consciously stepping into their work, their activation, the way they work on themselves. So the vibrational shift on the planet is becoming much more palpable. So that leaves the way to be able to bring in the next level of evolution where we need to be. In Africa, we know that it represents the heart, the cradle, the source origination of life, and it's very much attuned with the new energetic grids that the earth or the new earth is moving into. And last year when we were in South Africa with my husband, Peter, I looked into the entire continent, and I can see that the north was disconnected from the rest. It's almost like saying energetically your head is disconnected from your body. It's going to create all kind of distortion. And I've seen that sometime in session. So we have to reconnect the north to the continent to be able to release a very old time loop that Carol is stuck in. Time loop can be like they're stuck in a paradigm that is like almost like in parallel to the rest of the planet moving, shifting. They're stuck in an old loop feed that keeps the role of men and women in a certain way, that keeps everyone down into a very paradox of living and belief systems and restrictions and government limitation and all of this. I can tell that there's a time loop that is there. The same thing with Mount Shasta 3 years ago for a conference. I could see that the town was stuck in a time loop. It's almost like a bubble of time and where the same time repeats itself in a loop. And I could feel it. It was palpable that Shasta was stuck in the loop. The first time I went to Shasta was 7 years ago. And when I came back, I was shocked to see that how much things have almost regressed because of that time loop. And the television was not responding as much. You can tell there was a lot of disconnect. So when we came back to Shasta, our role was to dismantle this time loop and bring Shasta back into a higher reconnection frequency so it can really evolve. And when I was there with you and the Stargate family in June, I can see palpably how much that time loop, that bubble of time has been disconnected. And we were there to re-encore, the new level of frequencies. The same thing with Carol. We want to rebuild a new Carol. We want to help even the ancient knowledge to come back to the surface. We want to realign the sites. Some of the sites have been either contaminated or there's a distortion to them. They're out of alignment. They're no longer in the same alignment. I see that with different sites around the world where there's some disconnect or misalignment. So much more, to be honest with you, much more going to be revealed as we go there. But what I can tell you, we're here to like a really big job, so to speak. Like we're going to be really deep, boots on the ground. I mean, like, here, get the gloves. We have work to do. And I'm going to be guided, and we're going to be guided as a group as well with Alcazar, the Stargate, my delegations, and other spiritual guides will be with us. We're there to create a huge restructuration of Egypt overall, but especially what it represents. Because if you look at the connection with Atlantis, the Flame of Ascension, the School of Mystery, the High Priest, the High Priestesses, all of these archetypes that's been either misinterpreted, misutilized, the distortion it created. There's so many overlays of what we're going to be doing there. So we can only explain or share so much because when we're going to be on site, this is where everything's going to start to reveal themselves. What I can tell you that we're going to be also affecting the memory field of the Earth, so she can be releasing herself from that three-dimensional loop, and we're shifting into a new universal paradigm. That's a complete shift of paradigm there. So it's going to be phenomenal. And I always says, I tell the universe I am an open conduit. I empty my mind of what I think I know. And I say, show me, I am here to be of service. Reveal to me, and I allow myself to be in that fluid directions as opposed to go there already with so many preconceived notion of what I think we need to do. Is there's something much bigger, but that's just an essence, a flavor of it.
I remember in Shasta, there was a deep sorrow connected to Atlantis when we brought up moving to Egypt and Greece, a deep sorrow that's been hanging on for a long, long time and probably is part of many people. I know a lot of the starseeds and people that are feeling some of the sadness that was part of Atlantis. And I'm hoping that what you're talking about also is this uplifting. I feel a beautiful uplifting of Gaia to be able to release a lot of this sadness and anger and unknowing of what happened in Atlantis with what we're doing in Egypt and then moving on into Greece. And again, I'm so grateful that I'm able to talk to you about this because I feel the Arcturians are so huge as we move from Egypt into Greece with over 1,000 people gathered energetically. It's going to be huge. And I feel that much will be healed and much will be brought, and there'll be a great movement for those who choose to be able to move forward. And so I'm asking you and your delegation, do you have anything that you can say with that high consciousness, how the Arcturians will be able to come in and gift us a lot with what they have?
Well, what we can say for now, because again, much more going to be experienced as we are on site. But as of right now, we talk about releasing grief. That's part of releasing these experiences out of the field. That's part of releasing the overlays of past history, of the Earth archives that kind of repeat itself into the same loop. And then people get, why am I feeling this way? What am I feeling? That out of blue, I became like, feel sorrow, I feel grief, I feel, those wave of uncertainty. Well, sometimes you have to ask yourself, is it all coming from me? Are these experiences or emotion all mine? Or am I energy sensitive or more empathic? And I'm certainly receiving those waves coming either from the earth herself or even the collective consciousness. So we need to unwind ourselves, disengage from the old field of uncertainty of the future. There's higher master than us. We're only humans. All these energy of scarcity, primal fear, retracting into primal energies. This is a huge reversal on the earth and in the thought system, huge reversal. And I feel like part of the opportunity to help to restore the Atlantean timeline will be to release these old guilt feeling and fear, sorrow, grief, feel of loss, and all of this, finally being able to purge the entire energetic grid system of the earth in our own structures so we can evolve. What else there is beyond those emotions? Those emotions are just related to frames of experiences. What other experiences are they? And I think that's the invitation to already start to reflect on that. And even though for those of you watching or will be watching, there's no need for you to be physically on site. You can still connect, watch the live stream, especially in Greece, still partake to this global, absolutely golden opportunity to bring in the earth and all life to infuse the field of the new earth with this universal paradigm of empowerment, unity consciousness, universal love, self-worth, and to recognize that we are souls, divine souls of light, having these experiences, whether you call yourself, like myself, an Arcturian being in a human form, a star seed, an angelic being, a galactic fairy, whatever your roles that you play in this on this planet, you are first and foremost a divine soul, and being able to re-identify yourself again as a soul of divine light, an eternal soul going through a temporary physical expression called a human being. That is another huge, huge shift in paradigm and in consciousness. Would you agree, Diane?
I so totally agree. And it just came to me an image that you showed when you were talking about Greece and you were talking about all the star seeds and this beautiful consciousness that's there. And you showed this rock, this Arcturian rock that you have. And you showed that everybody was holding this rock and lifting it up like it was Gaia. And this is what we're doing is we are bringing, yes, it was so beautiful. And I felt that very deeply in my heart that we are bringing Gaia into this new consciousness and we're going with her. And it's so amazing. I just wanted to let you know that was very meaningful to me when I saw you holding that Arcturian rock and talking about what we can do. This is what we can do if we choose. And I'm so grateful to have this time to be able to talk with you. I guess that what I'd really like to say too is if the Arcturians had a message for us at this point of anything, how we could prepare or where we're going or any type of a message, personal message for us, human starseeds, human beings.
Especially at where we are in this conjunction of the timelines, what we see a lot is people get caught up in terms of semantics, confusion, filtering, relevance, security, fear, all of this. What we say is bring yourself back to your focal point, to rediscovering your inner universe. Let yourself rediscovering the wonders, the treasure land that you carry within yourself. There's so much within you that you have the opportunity to rediscovering. And after time, what happened is that even in the spiritual community, even those who've been on their path for a long time get a little bit too caught up into the complication of the mental mind. Then everything becomes a technique or a journey, and how am I supposed to do that? So they get entangled into the how, rather to say, I choose to explore my inner universe. I ask my heart every day, how can I support you? And how can I redirect the focal point of the quality of my thought forms, the power of my emotional field, and my co-creative faculties of manifestation to my light, to be truly of service to the light? How can I utilize all my faculties to support day by day that beautiful timeline that we call the reascension process? How can I make a difference? Instead of running loose in all aspect of videos and YouTubes and, somebody said over this or this psychic told me this, and then I can feel it every day. Their field being so busy that they create more destruction than it serves the purpose. Allow yourself every day to take the time to release yourself from the noise, the mental destruction of the 3D paradigm, and ask through your higher self, invite your higher self through your heart. Breathe, open the gateway of your heart. It is through my soul essence that I choose to make a difference today. How can I be of service? Where are you? Where are you invested in the most? And when you hear things about yourself, to a reading about your soul lineage, your star seed origin, galactic history, whatever you're listening to, come back to your core, disconnect, and ask, I only keep the keys elements of wisdom that serve my highest and greatest good. I release everything else. And I ask you moving forward that higher truth be revealed to me, show me. So this way you can still learn pieces or keys of knowledge and wisdom without being entangled into the complication of mental energy, even though it sounds advanced. That's one thing we see right now, is that overall we feel that human beings can easily get off track. If somebody comes with a certain authority and tell them something like, oh, I thought I knew myself, I disconnect. Bring yourself back. Get to know who you are. Nourish your core of worthiness. You are worthy because you are a soul, a divine essence of light. Your 3D personality and traits and history are there to truly design to support your soul growth, as opposed the other way around. So you take someone like myself, I have learned to adapt. I have forged personality, so to speak, so you can interact with me. And, I will have my fluctuations, the sense that sometimes I feel a bit impatient, sometimes I feel the energy, sometimes I feel discouraged, because the energy feels strong. But ultimately, I am still an Arcturian hybrid who has ascended thousands of years ago. It is simply playing out to those traits that I'm learning from. It changes nothing to the quality of who I am. Well, it's the same courtesy for you. You're still who you are. The personality 3D of my name is Diane, Michael, Vivian. It's just personality we took. These are our earthly identities. Who really are you? A divine soul, perfect, eternal, wise. And you have so much knowledge in you that's different than information. Knowledge. So right now, what we just conveyed to you, it's a lot of frequency, energy, a lot of beautiful invitation. You can feel our presence. Allow yourself to blossom beyond what your mind has been telling you. And let's see what happens. Let's see what happens, right?
Yes, thank you. Let's see. I remember also the words were reset, you can change. Wow. Thank you so much, Vivian. I'm hoping that towards the end of this year, after these beautiful events have unfolded, we can come back and discuss even more what's happened, because I'm very, very excited about the future. And I thank you for bringing that message to us and giving us so much hope. It sounds so easy. It sounds just so easy to just be who you are. I guess it is.
That's the beauty of it, Diane. That's part of the deprogramming of the mental mind and the 3D structure. Work hard. The more complicated, the more complex, the more you start to be intelligent. And this is the way. This is completely those false paradigms that we are dismantling when we step into a simply and a profound state of beingness and cosmic presence. It's your presence that come in. That has nothing to do with what you've learned, your diploma, the complexity of your career. Are you successful financially? None of it. Who are you? And ultimately, really, one thing I've learned directly from the realms of light, and I have a lot of experience interacting with souls who've crossed over as they evolve, what matters, how they shift. I have talked with ultra celestial beings. I have encounter masters in addition to my intergalactic groups and beyond. And one thing they convey, the commonality of all of it, the core, is the life that you have right now. It's your opportunity to gain and carry more light. It's all about the light that you carry within you. How do you do that? Simply embrace that I am a soul having a human experience, and every day I apply myself to be fully present and serve the light. A smile, a presence, a kind thought, a generosity that really gone along the way. Carry light in your mind, carry the light in your heart, carry the light in your cells. Can you imagine if trillions of your cells carry light every day? What do you think the vibrational quality of your body would be? Phenomenal, right? Simply when we say allow yourself to change, to shift, to be fluid and adaptable is when you reset. And if those days you have emotions, something happened in your family situation, and you are need to attend to those events, you are still a being of light. As the beauty of it is, nothing changes your profound nature. A crystal is a crystal. It was never meant to be a grain of sand or an apple. A crystal is a crystal. We are who we are. And that's why we are returning more. And by returning to these profound and yet simple and empowered rediscovery, this is why we start to realize I can do so much more than this earthly 3D identity and mental mind with all the programming and the teaching comes with it have ever taught me. And we said, yes, of course. It is part, again, of that reversal of thought system. So, deep breath, choose again, and ask your higher self, all right, I'm ready now. Show me the way. And be present to the answers. For people who have been so identified with this lifetime, with this identity, that this is this lifetime and there's nothing more. There's no God, source, supreme source, or even prime creator. The good news is that your soul still believes in you. That part of you may say something. It changes again nothing to the profound nature of who you are. And in time, what is the most appropriate for those beautiful people, they will be allowed to evolve just the same way. And finally rediscovering that their jewel, the diamond, the core of their essence have always been there. But this is just say that the costume was speaking louder for a while, and then he will return to it. Some people may say, I have no belief in those concepts or souls. Great, your soul believes in you, so all is well.
Thank you, Vivian, and I will say goodbye for now until we meet again. Welcome to Stargate. Welcome to all of us. We love you.
And I love you too. This is why I'm here. I'm here because my heart is with all of you. My heart is with the Stargate. My heart is with Prageet and Jules. And with the Arcturians, we can see how much they're smiling because we've been preparing this for a long time. So it's all in perfect synchronicity. And we will definitely be back. It will be a pleasure, Diane. Can you imagine what more can we explore?
Onward. Thank you, Vivian, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye for now.